while since I showed you the 20-gallon community aquarium, isn't it? A lot has changed in this aquarium. You won't believe it. Plus, the last time I showed it, I did a sort of species profile on the tiger barbs. So now I'm gonna do not as extensively, but like a sort of species profile on the rest because I don't know how I'm gonna be able to make species profiles for all of them. So let's get right in. So the first change you'll probably notice is that the tank is now much more open, and the only things that are growing there are tall plants, tall green ones. All the red stuff and all are gone. So this is an Amazon sword plant. I just recently understood why it was an Amazon sword plant because actually when I put my hand into the tank for two reasons. One is for planting these tall plants, that one right there, and for planting some Sagittaria. Look at that root there, they totally ripped it up. Sagittaria is supposed to be a very hardy plant, but somehow they just ripped it apart totally. Yeah. So anyway, I did put some Sagittaria down in this corner, and the sword plant, it's sort of sharp, the edges. That surprised me. That's why I realized, okay, it's a sword plant. And then the new additions to this tank, there's that marble rock there. I actually use it to grow a lot of algae, then put it over in my shrimp tank, which has also changed a lot, which I'm going to cover in another video. Anyway, and then I've actually already had one snail in here. I added 4 more actually, but the problem was that one of them turned blue and actually died. It was very sad. It seriously turned blue in color. I was surprised. Maybe that was its blood when some fish had bitten it. Maybe. Anyway, I also have these small Ramson snails that infested my shrimp tank. They didn't really harm the shrimp much, but they were sort of out-competing the shrimp and getting to the food. So anyway, many of them died. I don't know if you can see it, but there are those shells in the background. Now tiger barb is covering them. I'll just zoom in and let you see them. See those? See those transparent looking stone kind of things at the back? Yeah, those are the dead snail shells. Anyway, so we have a new fish in this tank, if you hadn't noticed by now. It's the catfish. This is an Indian and Southeast Asian species. It's called a sea mugger or Clarias batrachus. So basically, this is what happened. It's a very curious incident. So the shopkeeper told us that it's going to probably grow about 4 inches. Now the biggest one is about 4 inches, but rest of them still they're almost 4 inches, maybe 3.5, 3.7, something like that. Anyway, so he said that they'll stay around the same size. But then I did my research once I came home. I didn't do my research beforehand because I never knew these guys were going to be there in the pet shop. I thought I'm probably going to be coming home with something else, maybe some kind of tetra. But then I saw these guys and got them. They actually have grown only about a centimeter or 2 and I got them, I think sometime in, I don't know, I think July. Yes, I got them in July. So, these guys, it turns out they grew about, take a moment to take that in, 20 inches long. That's almost the size of this tank. This tank is 24 inches long. And these guys, the catfish, are going to go to 20 inches long. So there's no way I'm going to be able to keep them. Anyway, now I found this place that takes in fish. They're not only fish, rescues animals, called Prani, the Pet Sanctuary. So maybe if they end up growing a bit big, we'll probably have to give them there. So that's fine. Anyway, these Clarias batrachus, I'm gonna talk about that this thing at full size. One more thing, I've actually changed the feed that I give them. This I actually bought for my molly fry, but they actually like there was way too much of it, and it expires in April of 2019. So I want to just finish it up with these guys. I know that might lead to the catfish growing faster, but anyway, I know I can give them away. So these catfish, I already told you that they can grow 20 inches long, but do you know their diet in the wild? It's crazy. They'll take birds, they'll take rodents that fall into the water, other fish, frog, native crayfish, basically anything. And they're highly invasive in parts of the USA like Florida and all. Because of their large size, they're able to outcompete everything else. If you see the tiger pups who are the boss of the tank, they don't really annoy these guys. More like these guys. Did you just see that? It just went near the tiger pups swam away. It's really super aggressive. I've once or twice saw them locking lips with each other, but that I don't think they can do much damage. And I don't know if this injury was sustained from the store. Oh no, it's very hard to show. But I think the biggest one of its fins is actually torn. But that's that fin there. Not exactly in this catfish. You see those fins on the side? I just forgot what they're called. So it's not very important to locomotion. So that's fine. If the tail fin, for example, was torn, it would be quite bad. So anyway, these guys sometimes their bellies just swell up when I give them a big meal. So then moving on to the next fish, the widow tetras. These guys, believe it or not, attack the food like piranhas. I'm just focusing on this one. There are 4 in the tank. The black widows and white widows, or black skirts and white skirts, whatever you want to call them. Anyway, and this is the cool thing about the white skirts. Do you see that? You're able to see their vertebra and internal organs. You can see that for literally all the fish here, pretty much. Like, if you look closely. Okay, maybe it doesn't show much in the giant Daniel. Anyway, so they literally attack the food like piranhas. They go to about this level in the tank. When there's food at this level, I provide floating pellets. And recently I powdered them and stuff, so it slowly sinks down. But they're like small, they're not big pellets like what I feed the lobsters. Anyway, they'll come to this level, they'll dart up, take a mouthful of food, and then eat it. They come to this level, dart up, take the mouthful of food, and repeat. So they are like not too aggressive. They Many people say that they're aggressive amongst each other. They'll establish a pecking order, and the dominant one will beat up the less dominant one. Uh, that's what some YouTubers say, but I don't see that happening in my town. That might be maybe because like I was lucky, or maybe because it's a community, something like that. But yeah, I don't see that in my tank. So anyway, would you look at that? That snail has completely chewed up that leaf. Not completely. It's sort of like a caterpillar chewing up a leaf. Then totally chewed up. Anyway, so next we'll move on to the red-eyed tetras. It's pretty obvious where they get the name from. Oh god, I can't get the focus on one. Okay, so it's basically, oh god, that one is moving super fast. It's because of, did you see that one? Did you see the red? Yeah, that one. You see the red above the eyes? Actually, these red-eyed tetras, when I bought them, they weren't in too good shape. But they grew nicely. And I'm not 100% sure, but that fat one there might be pregnant. But like my fish, they get pregnant once in a while, but they just don't lay eggs in the tank. Often for breeding, you want like a species only tank. So, yeah. And then, so red-eyed tetras again are like surface feeders sort of fish. The tetras, there's nothing very impressive about their feeding habits and all. So most of them just eat some plant matter once in a while, rarely algae, and they also eat crustaceans, fish fry doesn't mean the food we make, baby fish. That's what I mean. That's what I meant when I said molly fry too. So next, moving on to the rainbow shark. These guys, they're actually very aggressive towards each other. Actually, you in the fish shows you see them together. So it's always questioning why we can't keep them together. Though they keep it in the fish shows together. But then I realized that actually, like in the fish store, it's not gonna stay there for its whole life. There's some terrible commotion going on in the lobster tank. So anyway, uh, they're not going to stay there for their whole life. So maybe the injuries they're going to sustain is probably torn fins, something like that. Anyway, so that's not a problem. I understand that that's not a problem. Anyway, the rainbow sharks, they stay around the size. They don't grow too large. Anyway, this guy, he's been around for quite long. He didn't grow much, maybe because he was already pretty much an adult, and he's been getting a bit fatter, but that's maybe because I put him on a good diet. Story was a bit on the slimmer side. So, anyway, even on this guy, if you look carefully, you can see the organs actually. Then moving on to the zebra danios. I'm going to include the giant danio too in this one because they're very similar. The giant danio, this is interesting since he's much bigger than the rest. Actually, he always stays around the surface, makes it sort of like a territory, and if any other one comes, he's going to chase it out. He always stays there. And then this is one more thing that happened to me. Once my tiger barbs, I don't know if it was actually pregnant, but they killed a pregnant. I'm not sure if it's pregnant. It might have not been, but they killed the rainbow shark, a pink one, and another pink one. I think it died of old age, I suppose. I don't exactly remember. And then I had a white one. It lived 3 or 4 years. That's quite a long time for a zebra daniel. Normally, the life expectancy for a tetra-sized fish is 2 to 3 years. So it lived for quite a long time. Considering that when I bought it in the store, it was an adult. Anyway, I'm not sure what happened to it. I never found its carcass or anything. I suspect that it died of old age and these guys swallowed it. And then there was this sort of runt kind of runt kind of zebra danio. That I think was eaten by the catfish alive. It was like quite small compared to even this white guy. So I have two white normal sized ones and big blue stripe. I like to call them blue stripes because they do have blue stripes, bluish if you'd like to call them. And the blue stripe one is the biggest actually. And I want to show you something cool on the tiger barbs. The biggest one, I don't know if I'll be able to show it. You have to look very carefully. It actually has barbels. And one more thing to add on about the rainbow shark, it's not actually a shark, it's actually a relative of the catfish. So it's not like many of the animals you see called as sharks are actually catfish. I don't understand why. Maybe because they have a streamlined shape like a shark, and the those specific animals are like very fast and aggressive towards each other. I'm just generalizing. Of course, there are some exceptions like the bala shark, which is not very aggressive. Anyway, so I think that about wraps it up for this tank. So this is Animals Galore.